is there like this underdog mentality? Is there like this feeling of, okay, like the deck might be stacked against me, which again, like at your level, everyone's working hard. They're all putting in
Right.
insane amounts of work, and there's still, you know, filtering that, or like, just all things being equal, like there's different things that separate the best from the best from those who don't make the cut. But for you, I feel like that's even taken to a whole nother level,
Yeah.
given some of these different storylines. Tell me a little bit about that mentality for you training and, to be in that position on your, to go to, or, to be competing for your second Olympics. Like, describe a
Yeah.
little bit about that mentality behind who you are as an athlete.
I fully subscribe to the saying, and I know Mike Tatey has said this. I don't know if it originally came from him, but I've heard him say it, and I can't think of a better way to kind of describe it. Rowing is 25% technical, so you need to be technically proficient. You have to get your blade in on time. You have to row with other people and all that stuff. It's 25% physiology. So your engine, your VO2 max, your power output, like max watts and whatnot. The rest of it, the other 50% is mental. And if you can maximize your 50% of the mental, the other 25% is easy, right? You can push yourself to the limit, to the absolute physical limit, and get that 25% in the physical all the way up. You can like control yourself. You can think about it, be a student of the sport mentally, and kind of understand like it's like this mental grind to get your 25% technical maxed out. But I think where it does come down to the difference is knowing what motivates you, and knowing how, like, even when it's not going well, knowing how to tell yourself to keep going forward, to keep taking those strokes, to keep going on the early morning practices or the late night like erg sessions. And for everyone it's different. um you know a couple of things that work for me is music is extremely helpful. I find a lot of motivation in different types of music, whether that's rock or like EDM. I like to say I can biohack myself, where I can time a beat drop and get an adrenaline kick during a 2K. Um, like, so I will always put like if I have aux for a 2K test, I can time a song that I know literally sends shivers down my spine when the beat drops at 800 to go. And so then all of a sudden I have 150 free meters where I don't feel any pain, which is pretty crazy, but just to show the power of music. I think also having the "fu watch me" mentality, where getting recruited for colleges, there were a couple of coaches that were like, "Thanks, see ya," and that was it. Like at some of the big programs, and I'm very happy to kind of be like, you missed, because I saw the recruits that they pulled, and they had great careers in the 4V and the 3V at their respective institutions, and I'm sure they were fantastic oarsmen in high school. But like having that "fu watch me" to kind of drive the development has always been something that I keep close to the chest, and keeps me going. And then also, like, something that keeps motivation is like building a group of friends that are supportive of you. Having a network of people that, if it's a college night and Saturday night comes around and they're like, "Oh yeah, let's go to this party or whatever." And I'm not saying don't go to parties and enjoy the college experience, but like saying to your friend, "Hey man, like I didn't feel super great about practice this week. I'm just gonna stay in and hit the meters on Sunday." Having a friend group, and I'm very blessed to be able to have that, and like a supportive like group behind me, be like, "Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, man, you see you." I think picking and choosing and like knowing like who could be in your corner for the long haul, like that's an extremely underrated part of it, because it is this grind of a sport where like you don't have the immediate success that you can just kind of show people. Like you need to have like someone that can, and like groups of friends or significant others that can kind of understand the long haul, like the grind and the sacrifice. I think that's extremely underrated. And if you look at all the best athletes in this sport, they have a network behind them that support them through everything, through the ups and the downs and the injuries, and they never say, oh, well, you can just skip that session to come hang out with me. Like the best athletes have the people that are like, understood. Yeah. I'll see you when I see you, you know? So I think just those pieces of motivation for me is what I've felt like has been the most constant to see my improvement. And like, I will say improvement is not directly linear. There are ebbs and flows. But knowing that the bulk of the work that you put in kind of creates this new like bottom, right? So like you put in like 200K where you're feeling great and then you have a slight injury, but now all of a sudden your injury gets you down, but you're still at a higher point than when you started that 200,000 meter block. And then you go through the next training block, and then oh, you had a bad race result, but now all of a sudden you're still higher when you had that injury, right? So you're pushing like the resistance limit, higher and higher, throughout the training, and just understanding there is going to be setbacks, there's going to be injuries, there's going to be failures to PR, there's going to be someone that says you're not in the boat for this or that reason, but kind of trusting and backing yourself, having that mentality of F you, watch me, I think all really, really solid ways to keep a healthy relationship and like openness to the long term in the sport. I've seen a lot of phenomenal athletes get kind of like backed off the hill, and they lose the mental battle. They have great ergs, they have great technique, but they take one or two many stumbles, and it seems like they just kind of fall. And then all of a sudden their ergs start suffering, or like they just can't row in the boat with someone else. And it's kind of crazy how the 50% mental really fills the other, 50% of the sport. So I think finding the motivation and what works for you is absolutely critical for the longevity of success.